Valentine's Day, what better than ruby wax for Valentine's in a gorgeous pinky red? Are you a hearts and flowers kind of girl?
No,
do you do all that sloppy
strangely,
stuff?
no.
Oh.
No, I used to stalk people with Valentine's Day cards, you know, for years.
Did you send them as a secret admirer?
I didn't sign it.
So
There
you
was
just
no point to
tormented
it.
them?
What?
Tormented them?
Yes, I was a tormentor. But eventually I started writing myself back, and then I felt much better.
Look, you're here to talk, amongst many other things, your brilliant book, A Mindfulness Guide for the Frazzled, which is brilliant because it's not just for those who have had big issues with mental health, but all of us, don't we,
Yeah, it's
are a little bit frazzled. And I wonder, weirdly, Valentine's Day is one of those days, isn't it, where some people do feel rather sad because there's so much expectation on what our lives should be.
That's what, you know, in the past it was like bubonic plague or, I don't know, bad teeth or old age, you know, you died at about 12 and a half. But now with the killers, I'm not saying it's Valentine's Day, but it is this expectation. And so we get these kind of recordings, I'm not good enough, nobody even you're thinking that now. You know, I've never had the thought in my head, what a wonderful thing I'm doing here, and may I say how attractive I am today. So I was so interested. That's the way we are. So we shouldn't feel bad about it. But then when everybody else seems to have, you know, it's Valentine, there's a loss, you know, like I can't keep up with it.
People might be wondering, you know, what your basis for writing this book is, but you have got a qualification that makes you suitable for writing it.
Well, the reason I wrote it is because, you know, I thought we're the ones that make ourselves crazy. You know, that's frazzled. We need stress, by the way. Otherwise, we'd still be on our porch in Alabama playing the banjo. We need it. But the phenomena is that we're getting stressed on stress on stress. You know, nobody else is stressed. I'm stressed. I didn't get a Valentine's Day. All of this is impacted by us. So I thought, well, if we put all the frazzle up there, how do we get it down? So ourselves, without running to somebody for help, because I got no more cash for that one. So I researched who had the best results as far as dealing with, you know, contemporary pressures, whatever that is, Donald Trump, whole nother thing. So I researched it, and it was mindfulness and cognitive therapy had the best results as far as people being able to deal with things on their own before you run to a doctor and say, feed me medication, though I have nothing against medication. But mindfulness, I thought, sounded way too vegetarian. But I went to the horse's mouth. You know, I'm a researcher at heart, so I went to the guy who invented mindfulness. He was a professor at Oxford. So I said, don't give me the fluffy stuff. What goes on in the brain? You know, because this, to me, this is real. It's not an angel card. I'm very practical. He said, you have to get into Oxford to find that out and get your master's. And so to his surprise, I did. And, you know, I figured if Oxford were offering witchcraft, you know, then maybe mindfulness, you know, hasn't got, but they weren't. They were offering cognitive and mindfulness. So what I like is that you can look at the results in the brain. There was a long time ago, you couldn't see in a human body, so you didn't understand medication, you know, took out the inflammation. Now, with looking at the brain, it happened to be mindfulness and it happened to be cognitive that won.
Wow. So
then I thought, well, now this is really interesting. And sure enough, but you know, people say, oh, well, what's your top tip? That's our disease. There is no top tip. If, you know, you're not going to get a six-pack with one sit-up.
So you have to kind of invest in this. I know you've got a 6-week course
but
here in the book.
It's not a, you know, a spooky thing. You don't have to sit on a gluten-free cushion. In my book, we have no time. I don't even have time to take a shower. Sometimes I don't. Maybe I didn't today. I'm not saying. But my mindfulness thing...
I can't tell if you're interested. You're smelling gorgeous.
That's why we have this.
I love that. Love that.
But with this book, I do a 6-week course, and you can do it on the move. You know, there's times, believe it, in the day where you're not doing anything earth-shattering, the world won't change, as in standing in a queue. So rather, you know, people, you can... It's called mind fitness, okay? You can exercise the brain so that when those thoughts start to ruminate and take you over, you can, they'll always be there. You know, people think they empty their minds. You're only empty when you're dead. But it's a way of relating to that. We all have those thoughts, but it's getting a little bit of distance and saying, yeah, this is the I'm not good enough one. You know, they come and go.